there is nothing quite like freeware gaming. The idea that whether you're buying a brand new console or your first PC, heck even a phone, you have a massive library from the get-go that's completely free. To start anyways. And although not as enjoyable as the AAA titles, it's way easier to convince your friends to download something that doesn't cost them a dime than it would be to make a PowerPoint presentation as to why they should shell out $60 more for what is essentially the previous game with some DLC slapped on top of it. People always say the best things in life are free. Before they started charging for Switch Online, everyone was pretty happy with the state of the servers. Now that we're paying for it, yeah, it doesn't look so great anymore. We as humans tend to be more critical of things that cost us our hard-earned dough, so obviously when the price ain't right, you bet people are gonna be like, hey! Now Nintendo is no stranger when it comes to reselling us junk we already have. Just take one quick look at the eShop and you'll prove my point. Now I never really understood people who bought these kind of things. It'd be like selling water to a fish. I mean, who'd be dumb enough to pay for something that's already free? Don't answer that. Enter the booster courses, Nintendo's idea of further prolonging Mario Kart 9 by putting this decade-old game on DLC life support. Now in fairness, this is actually a smart idea, revitalizing one of the Switch's launch titles by sprucing it up with some additional content that's also bundled in with the expansion pass membership if you already had it. Now on paper, this seems like a good idea. I mean, adding new tracks and new courses to Mario Kart? I mean, how could you possibly mess that up? Why? They were most likely added for the people who barely played Tour, making all these tracks essentially fresh, which makes sense from a business standpoint since they did the exact same thing with the Wii U. In a way, it kind of preserves the legacy of Tour since mobile titles don't exactly have the same immortality as a console game would. At the time of this video, Tour servers are still up and running, but it's unlikely that'll be the case forever since we've seen the death of Nintendo mobile games in the past with the likes of Miitomo. Does anybody even remember Miitomo? But this video isn't about me praising a AAA gaming company for learning how to reduce, reuse, and recycle old content and sell it back to us. No. This is a commentary video, which means there's gonna be non-stop complaining. Tour tracks are stale, linear courses that people only like because of the various eye candy within each one. I have to mention that when I say Tour track, I'm mostly talking about the ones that originated from Tour. I'm well aware that 8 Deluxe uses the Tour version of tracks like Toad Circuit and Calamari Desert, but those are fine. We're mostly talking about the ones that are on the road, like Madrid Drift. No disrespect to the level designers who actually made them, because they were clearly built with the phone in mind. Having wide and complex tracks with controls like this wouldn't be very fun to play, because these two things are different, and you can't expect the same amount of enjoyment on phone as you can on console. Tell that to the Angry Birds series. I was never really big on Mario Kart Tour. I was lumped in with the 50% of people who downloaded it at launch, played it for a week straight, and then went on with my life. So obviously I have a clear bias against any track that forces me to drive in a straight, narrow line. I am a fan of some Tour tracks like Athens Dash with its various shortcuts and overall open layout, but a majority of the time, what you'll see in a Tour track is driving down the street, driving down another street. Look, there's a turn ahead. Oh hey, some stairs. Oh. Did I win? Every street track just blends together with little to nothing to stand out in terms of level design. Tour is more focused on the scenery instead of the actual enjoyment you get from racing. You're not really supposed to question the layout. Nintendo just wants you to go, wow, I'm driving under the Eiffel Tower. Wow, I'm playing Rocket League. Wow, I'm driving in a circle. There's little to no shortcuts in any of these tracks, and sometimes they can be so well hidden into the background you can miss it if you blink, which might just be a skill issue on my part, but in fairness, committing vehicular manslaughter on a group of toads trying to enjoy a Sunday brunch is not worth the 3-second save. I will go around with my conscience clear, thank you. Now I don't like Tour tracks, but I also don't have a seething hatred for them. It's fine that they're in the game, but honestly I can do without them. I don't see any of these making a return when they inevitably release Mario Kart 9 because they're just not that interesting. There are some parts that are kinda cool, but they don't last very long, and like 3 seconds after, you're back to playing what is essentially a Sonic Forces level. I did like most of the booster courses, even if there were a few mediocre ports, but there's some clear room for improvement. It is Nintendo, so don't hold your breath.